1971. I was lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck on one occasion. I have to say about the story, I've now told the story so often that I can only remember the story and I can't remember the event anymore, so I have to take my own word for it that that's true.
Where did you get the idea for the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy?
Lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck. I was just lying there in the evening, having had a couple of bottles of beer and staring up at the stars. And the sort of stars were sort of swirling around my head. And I had a copy of the Hitchhiker's Guide to Europe, which kind of everybody was carrying around Europe that year. In fact, all I thought of at that point was the title. And it just occurred to me somebody should write a Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy as well. It didn't even occur to me it was going to be me who would do it. It just seemed like a good idea that somebody should do. And oddly enough, it didn't actually occur to me it would be me. I just thought, that's a good idea, somebody should do it, kind of thing. Yeah. Very little I'd tried to turn my hand to had sort of worked at all. And one of the things I was continually trying to persuade people to be interested in was the idea of doing comedy science fiction. And the notion I had in mind at the time was, in fact, 6 different programs, a series of 6 different programs, each of which was going to end in the destruction of the Earth for a different reason. And it was going to be called The Ends of the Earth. And then I remembered this thought I'd had years and years earlier when I'd been lying drunk in a field in Innsbruck about the Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. And that was when the whole thing really began to come together.
Insatiable fans all around the world for more and more hitchhiker books turned Douglas Adams from a scriptwriter into a novelist. It was a change in his life that was to put him under enormous pressure and was to cause him a lot of pain and anguish.
Douglas used to say that he was doing absolutely the wrong job. He wanted to be a performer. He wanted to be out there performing and being amongst people and doing things, and instead of which, fate had cast him as a writer, and there he was sitting alone in a room having to write and wishing he wasn't. So it was a great cross to bear for him, I think.
Is it tough for you to write, or is it something that...
I find it very, very difficult, actually. I think it's getting slightly easier, oddly enough, at the moment. But I always seem to need sort of mad panic of deadlines and so on. I like to have a deadline because it's sort of... Once the deadline's passed, you really begin to think, now, what's this book going to be about? You know, and that's a point you need to get to.
Music, then, it's important to you. You not only
Very
listen
much so.
to it, you write it, and you play it on the guitar.
Yes, I do, yes. The first time I ever became excited by the guitar was listening to The Shadows when I was a kid. I used to walk around the whole time, you know, playing air guitar and walking into lampposts. I've also just done a completely different thing. See if you can guess what I've just done.
He had a fascinating view of animals, partly because he never forgot that human beings were animals too, which is something almost everybody does. We all fall into this terrible trap of believing, even if we do believe that we're animals, we believe that we're somehow at the top of a Darwinian ladder, that we're higher above in evolutionary terms. He was able to see the animal kingdom, if that is the right word, with a novelist and a scientist's eye, and that's a very, very rare thing.
I would love to have been a software designer, working with computer systems. Which I mean, it sounds terribly dull, but actually it's dealing with information and how we shape information, how we understand it, how we deal with it, what we mean by it at the most fundamental level, and I find it profoundly exciting.
I think he died without seeing what he really believed they were capable of come anywhere close to fruition. I think he was looking to the time where computers were ubiquitous, where we wore computers, practically every device in our homes was a small computer.
What a wonderful